Hey everyone, Nate from Grower's House here, and today we're showing off a new product to the hydroponics and indoor growing market. This is the VORTEX S-line power fan, and these fans just came out. This is the first day we've had it, and I think we might be one of the first people to have this fan in the nation. And this fan is the 6-inch version, although there is an 8-inch version out right now, and I heard of a 10 coming out. I'm not sure about a 4 or a 12. But we'll see as we keep our ear to the floor. And why this fan is special, well, first off, you'll notice that it looks a lot different than your traditional inline fan. That's actually because, first off, this fan is very insulated. This wall is actually pretty thick, I would say about 1 inch, and this insulation helps keep the fan extremely quiet. This fan is supposed to be 20 to 50% quieter than traditional inline fans. And that also makes it so that the fan can prevent itself from building up condensation on the outer edge, which is obviously happens a lot in many indoor grow rooms. Some other very unique things about this fan is that it was designed for very, very, very low power consumption. This 6-inch version, which is about 350 CFM, which I would say is a little bit on the lower side for a 6-inch fan, but I turned it in, plugged it in, felt pretty powerful, and this one is only 66 watts at 120 volts, so we're talking about this thing is just over half an amp of power usage, which is great when you're trying to keep that as low as possible. And a couple more unique things about this fan. You'll notice that the front, it actually has what's called a mixed flow impeller. So there's actually impellers here at what I would call the outer edge that help move the air through the fan, and there's a small one on the inside that helps cool the motor of the fan so that the fan will last longer and the motor won't have to try as hard. That said, it comes with a 10-year warranty, which is basically best in class in the industry. I think only CanFan and VORTEX have those 10-year warranties. Now, this is probably one of my favorite features of the fan. You'll notice it looks completely flat in the back. That's actually because there are built-in backdraft dampers, which means that this fan, when turned off, completely seals your environment. So when I turn that on, you'll see these 2 red flaps move to allow air to go through. And I'll show you that here in a second. But I can't believe I never thought of this, or another fan company hasn't thought of building in a backdraft damper to a fan. And not only that, they made it so that it's removable. So if you don't want that backdraft damper, you can easily take it out. Not only that, this fan, this is obviously a 6-inch flange on each side, but you can take the fan out of this housing, which you can also install, like let's say, on your wall like this, or on your ceiling. And if I wanted to, let me show you something really fast. So now I'll show you that I can take the fan out of this housing for maintenance, or if I wanted to set it up in a way that makes this fan take up as small or as little space as possible. Let me show you that. So I take it out of here, and boom, there's our fan. If you wanted to use it this way, you absolutely could. There's no reason that you can't. And you'll notice that right here, the gaskets on the very ends, on both the flange for this fan and the one for what I would call the housing, have rubber on them, so that rubber gasket actually makes it sure that the fan is vibration free, like further bringing on the what I would call the quietest, what they're going for is the quietest indoor fan, which we'll have to test to make sure that those statements are true. But what I would like to do is take this fan and plug it in next to the ActiveAir 6-inch inline fan, which is 400 CFM, and that's the fan that we had a 3-fan comparison and to see which fan produced the least amount of decibels, and that's the fan that we felt like did the best as far as the ratio of CFM and decibels. So we're going to plug it in next to that fan to see how these fans sound next to each other, to see if this fan really is 20 to 50% less, produces less noise. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we are with the two fans next to each other. Now I'm hooking these up without any ducting on them, and granted with ducting both of these fans will be quieter, but I think this is going to be the best way to just show them off next to each other in the sound. And like I said earlier, the active air fan over here in green is about 50 CFM greater than the Vortex fan. So I would expect it to be a little bit louder since the physics of air movement would actually make it push more air. So that said, let's plug these in and see what they're like, and of course eventually we're going to have to get a whole bunch of fans together and do a decibel test. So let's start off with this though. Okay, pretty standard 6-inch fan noise. Now let's try the Vortex. Now it's definitely a different kind of noise, but it might be hard to tell over the camera with the kind of audio it has, but I can tell that this is much quieter than the active air. So I get the seal of approval for definitely a quieter fan. How much? I can't say. I'm not a decibel meter. We're going to have to test it. And lastly, here's the fan, and I really wanted to show off that back damper in action. So I'm going to go ahead and swing around to the back, plug this guy in, and we can see this back damper end up opening up as I plug the fan in. So that's it for our unboxing review of the Vortex fan. I think this fan is introducing a lot of cool things to the market that we'll see come out in other fans here in the future. It's very cool seeing some of this technology come out in the market because I think it's going to be making our growers' lives a lot easier. Other than that, this is Nate from Grower's House. Have a good one.